Hi guys, I'm Paul from Love Logs, and today I'm going to show you how to roast this beautiful rolled leg of lamb on your barbecue. So first things first, we're going to make our marinade. I like to keep it super simple with marinades. I'm not a complicated cook, so let's get right into it. This has got a bit of a Spanish vibe and a bit of heat running through it, which is how we like it. So from an ingredients point of view, I've got sustainable British rapeseed oil. This is much cheaper at the moment than olive oil, but for me, buying British is always the way I'll go. I've got cayenne pepper, cumin, smoked paprika and quality sea salt, some fresh garlic, and I've got 3 fresh herbs, parsley, thyme and sage. Right, let's get started. I've got about a 2.5 kilo rolled leg of lamb, so just adjust the quantities for the size of your joint. I'm going in with 100 grams of oil, which is about 100 mils. 2 teaspoons of my smoked paprika, teaspoon of cayenne, teaspoon of cumin, 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm actually going to add just a splash of red wine vinegar, which will just lift the marinade a little bit. And now time for my fresh ingredients. We'll just get these finely chopped. Small bunch of our parsley, and this can just go in stalks and all. And then just a few sprigs of our fresh thyme. We're not going to chop this, we'll just pull the leaves off and use them as they are. I hate this job. I'm just too heavy-handed a chef for this sort of thing. And now our garlic, I'm just going to use 2 or 3 cloves. And I'll just use a mincer for the garlic. So we've got our marinade, and we're just going into that with the fresh ingredients. So we've brought it all together, and this is ready to use. So we'll grab our lamb, roll our sleeves up and get this marinated. And there's no hiding from the fact this is a messy, hands-on job. If you really wanted to, you could have untied this joint before marinating and retying, but to be honest, I just don't have time for that today. So I'm going to go wash up and I'm going to get this into the fridge for 3 hours. You can do this anytime up to about 24 hours in advance to suit your schedule. So very simple kit list for today. We're going to be using our Weber Mastertouch. This is a 57cm lidded kettle barbecue. I've basically got air controls top and bottom, and that's going to allow me to control my temperature. Whatever barbecue you're using, if it's got air controls in and out, you're going to be able to replicate what we do today. From a fuel point of view, we've got our sustainable British charcoal. This is super clean burning and really easy to regulate temperature. And I'm using some apple chunks. We like a bit of smoke flavour through our food, but if you don't like that, then just leave the wood out. Okay, let's get this barbecue set up. So what we're going to do today is turn this barbecue into an oven. We're going to have 2 heat sources in our charcoal baskets here, and our lamb will sit right in between them. I've half filled the baskets because I'm going to light a small chimney starter and top both of them up. That's got a bit of leftover fuel in it from our last cook, and we'll top it up now. We're going to get this lit now, we'll let it burn for about 5 minutes, and then we can start the process of bringing the barbecue up to temperature. Now, depending on your type of cooking with British charcoal, you want to keep a very keen eye on your chimney starter. You don't want to waste energy letting this burn for too long. So if I was looking to cook a little bit low and slower, I'd probably tip the chimney out at this point. But I'm looking to bring the barbecue up to in excess of 200 degrees C, so I get a nice sear on this lamb when it first goes in. So I'm going to let this burn for just a little bit longer. So I've got flames dancing out the top of this now, and all of my charcoal is caught, so I'm going to tip it across my 2 baskets. Just want some subtle smoke on this, so I've got 2 small apple chunks, and I'm going to get those onto my charcoal now. Just making sure that they both sit below the level of the grill. So my grill's back on, and with this barbecue I've got the ability to add charcoal during the cook without removing the whole grill. So I've just made sure that my hinged areas are above the charcoal. So my lid's down and my top and bottom vents are open fully just for a couple of minutes. That's just going to keep my charcoal burning nice and cleanly and get that wood burning and clean up the smoke. So my dial temp here is reading about 230, 240, but it's still climbing. This isn't the be all and end all, but we do want to slow this down, so we're going to close down the bottom vent a bit. Based on experience, this vent position is going to give us a great roasting temperature, but we're going to monitor the pit temp and we can make adjustments as needed. So I'm cooking this in a tray for a couple of reasons. First of all, my tray and my veg is going to act as a bit of a heat deflector. Second of all, we're going to collect all those beautiful cooking juices and we'll use them in a gravy later on. I've got a multi-probe thermometer that's going to give me 2 temperature readings. The first one is buried right in the centre of my lamb. The second is down here, giving me my oven temperature. Let's get the lid down and get this temperature stabilised. We're running just a little bit hot, so I'm going to notch down the bottom and the top vents. The bottom vent controls your oxygen in, which is going to control the intensity of your fire. The top vent does the same thing by controlling the total flow of air through the barbecue. The top vent tends to act more like a brake. I'm having a bit of a problem with the temperature probe because this is the internal temperature of the meat, which, as you can understand, is not right. This is our pit temperature, so, pretty perfect in terms of cooking temperature right now. So I'm just going to open the lid to see if I can get this probe working at all. So obviously while the lid's open, it'd be silly not to do some admin. So I've added a little bit more charcoal to both sides, so I won't need to open the lid for a while. But the meat temperature probe is just not working reliably. So we're going to have to adapt and use a bit more gut feel and just pop the lid up every once in a while to check the temperature with our instant read thermometer. So I decided I'd be much happier if I could get a temperature probe into the lamb. So I've sacrificed my pit temperature reading and I've got that into the lamb, topped up my charcoal and got the lid down. I've got the colour I want on the lamb, so now I'm looking to drop the temperature of the barbecue a little bit. So I'm just going to notch down the bottom vent a tiny little bit. I'm now going to have to use a bit of gut feel on the barbecue temperature, but we'll use the lid thermometer here and we'll be alright. So we're at 52 degrees C internal temperature. I'm going to pull this off at 60 and it'll rest up to a lovely medium rare. So I've done one final charcoal top up and that'll carry us through all the way to the end of the cook. So we've hit 60 degrees just as the light's starting to go. So we're going to pull this lamb off and go and give it a 30-minute rest. So there it is, and it looks and smells absolutely amazing. As I said, we're going to give this 30 minutes to rest while I pop outside and cook some veggies on the barbecue, and then we'll slice into it and see how we've done. So I'm serving this with some grilled veggies and some roasted sweet potato, but of course this is the main event, so let's slice it open. So we've got an absolutely perfect finish. The lamb's just blushing in the centre, so we're a perfect medium rare. Let's get this sliced up and served. And of course I've got my gravy made with the contents of the pan. Barbecued roast leg of lamb in a Spanish marinade. Thank you so much for watching. Please give us a like and a subscribe and I'll see you soon. That is absolutely delicious.